Hello, knowledge seekers. In this episode of 20-Minute Books, we explore Drive by best-selling author Daniel Pink. Drive examines the importance of understanding motivation. Pink identifies two main types of motivations: extrinsic, which is driven by external rewards, and intrinsic, which comes from within ourselves. Many businesses rely heavily on external rewards, such as money or incentives. But, as Pink points out, these can actually limit creativity, reduce performance, and decrease satisfaction. By exploring intrinsic motivation, our innate desire for autonomy, mastery, and purpose, Pink demonstrates how we can more effectively motivate ourselves and encourage motivation in others. Daniel Pink is the author of numerous award-winning books, including A Whole New Mind, To Sell is Human, The Adventures of Johnny Bunko, and Free Agent Nation, several of which have appeared on the New York Times bestseller list. Pink has also served as the chief speechwriter for United States Vice President Al Gore. Drive is ideal for anyone looking to better understand motivation, whether you're a leader trying to inspire your team or you're simply looking for strategies to be more motivated in your own life. Drive: The Surprising Truth About What Motivates Us. Introduction: How carrots and sticks shaped human motivation through history. Imagine life 50,000 years ago, waking up each day thinking only about survival, hunting for food, finding a secure cave or shelter, and ensuring your genes carry forward to future generations. This primal focus represents Motivation 1.0, our oldest and simplest force-driving action. For early humans, motivation wasn't about inspiration or joy. It was about staying alive. For a long time, this survival instinct was enough. But over centuries, as we moved away from caves and towards complex societies, something shifted. Enter the Industrial Revolution, a turning point when life moved beyond just the basics. Workers no longer simply hunted or gathered. They operated machinery, undertook specialized roles, and navigated structured employment. Survival alone wasn't enough to push productivity forward. So what drove people if mere survival was no longer at stake? It was time to upgrade our motivational software to Motivation 2.0, a system built on external pushes and pulls, the famous carrots and sticks. Workers who performed well received rewards like higher paychecks or bonuses. Those who slacked risked reprimand or penalty. The logic behind Motivation 2.0 is straightforward enough. Incentivize the good and punish the bad. Reward a team member with praise or promotion, and chances are they'll strive even harder next time. On the other hand, publicly criticize or discipline someone who's chronically late, and watch punctuality suddenly improve. Fear of consequences or anticipation of rewards became powerful motivators for productivity. Even today, Motivation 2.0 remains deeply embedded in the corporate landscape. The belief persists strongly that without clear incentives or potential punishments, employees simply won't give their best. Managers worry that without direct oversight and clear reward-punishment structures, workers will take shortcuts, slack off, or fail to perform tasks properly. From traditional bonuses and raises to strict deadlines and performance reviews, today's workplaces still rely heavily on this second-generation motivation system. However, this model has its limitations. Oversimplifying human motivation to basic reward and punishment structures ignores tactics that foster genuine excitement, creativity, and deeper engagement. Although some modern organizations have loosened dress codes, introduced flexible hours, or casual Fridays, perhaps attempting to inject more humanity into the workplace. Motivation 2.0 still dominates how most organizations think about incentivizing employees. The question we face now is whether Motivation 2.0 truly fits our present reality, or if humans thriving in a knowledge economy demand a fundamentally different motivational approach. Part 1. The Surprising Power of Motivation. 3.0. Finding Joy Beyond Rewards. Imagine a group of monkeys, intrigued and delighted, carefully solving small puzzles. without being offered bananas, praise, or rewards of any kind. This very experiment occurred back in 1949 when psychologist Harry Harlow gave mechanical puzzles to a bunch of curious rhesus monkeys. To his astonishment, and against all prevailing theories at the time, the monkeys eagerly tackled these challenges purely for enjoyment, without any external incentive at play. Now, let's move from monkeys to humans and consider one of the most impressive feats of collaboration in our digital age, the creation of Wikipedia. Thousands of individuals voluntarily draft, edit, and publish countless Wikipedia articles. These contributors invest significant amounts of their valuable time and energy, all without expecting a cent in return. And yet, Wikipedia flourishes, surpassing paid services like Microsoft Encarta, whose professionally paid editorial teams couldn't ultimately compete. What's happening here? Clearly, basic needs, Motivation 1.0, and the carrot and stick framework, Motivation 2.0, don't tell the whole story. There's obviously another motivating force, a powerful drive rooted deep in human nature itself. Motivation 3.0. This internal motivation springs from an innate human desire to explore, create, and achieve personal fulfillment through purposeful activity alone, independent from any external rewards. When people engage in activities simply because those activities are deeply fulfilling and interesting, they're tapping into intrinsic motivation, Motivation 3.0. Think about all the blogs, recipes, tutorials, and open source programs freely available online. Programmers devote countless hours building software like Firefox or Linux, not because they're paid heavily, but because they love the challenge and the achievement of sharing their creation with the world. Individuals who operate under Motivation 3.0 often seek a few core things: autonomy, the freedom to choose when and how they work; purpose, the connection to meaningful projects; and mastery, the pleasure derived from becoming better and more skilled in their pursuits. They don't need constant supervision or monetary rewards. What drives them onward is the internal joy of contribution itself. Motivation 3.0 isn't simply an unrealistic ideal, it's proven remarkably effective in practice. Businesses, organizations, and teams which shift their perspective from purely incentive-based thinking toward this intrinsic approach witness improvements in creativity, satisfaction, and innovation. It's clear there's another way to motivate beyond the familiar carrot and stick. Motivation 3.0 recognizes something profound about ourselves: that meaningful work is its own best reward, and that humans can, and often do, gladly pour their hearts into projects for no reason other than the sheer joy of creation. Part 2. How rewards and punishments can sabotage performance instead of boosting it. Picture this scenario. A garage promises mechanics a cash bonus if they complete a certain number of repairs by week's end. Sounds sensible, right? After all, rewarding good performance should boost efficiency and keep customers satisfied. But surprisingly, this incentive often leads mechanics to perform unnecessary repairs just to meet their targets and secure their bonuses. Instead of customer satisfaction rising, trust evaporates. Customers feel cheated, and the garage's reputation suffers, all due to an incentive program designed with good intentions. In another revealing experiment in India, participants were challenged to hit targets by throwing tennis balls, with cash prizes awarded depending on their success. Those who stood to gain the largest rewards, the highest monetary stakes, ironically performed worse than those playing for smaller sums or no prize at all. Logic might suggest bigger rewards lead to better results, but in reality, the pressure created by large monetary incentives held participants back, increasing their stress and ultimately reducing their ability to focus and perform. The harmful effects of carrot and stick motivation become even clearer when creativity is required. Take one well-known experiment that asked people to fix a candle securely to a wall using only matches, thumbtacks, and a box. Solving this puzzle required real innovation and creative problem-solving. Participants offered financial incentives for solving the puzzle quickly ended up underperforming relative to those who weren't promised any reward. Rather than spurring creative thought, the lure of money narrowed participants' focus, limiting their capacity to find innovative solutions. Why does this happen? Simply put, when people face significant external rewards, whether cash, fame, or praise, they tend to zoom in dramatically on the prize. This intense focus can greatly reduce creativity, flexibility, and innovative thinking. Far from achieving their intended goal, these incentives can harm performance, especially when creativity or complex thinking is involved. Of course, when tasks are straightforward and repeatable, like bagging groceries or assembling simple products, stick and carrot incentives work just fine, as that narrow focus and repetitive efficiency actually improve results. But for anything more intricate, wherein people need to think creatively, independently, or ethically, handing out external incentives can backfire badly, leading workers to take shortcuts, adopt reckless behaviors, or compromise their integrity. In short, carrots and sticks may still have their place for simple jobs that require little independent thought. But as we ask individuals to engage their deeper creativity, resourcefulness, and judgment, relying predominantly on external rewards and punishments can have severely negative outcomes, limiting talent, decreasing performance, and even encouraging unethical choices. Part 3. How rewards can smother our natural joy and curiosity. Have you ever watched a small child discovering the world? They're fearless explorers, endlessly curious and eager to learn. Whether stacking colorful building blocks, marveling at insects in the garden, or simply doodling with crayons, they're driven completely from within, by pure intrinsic motivation. Yet as years pass, something strange tends to happen. Children who were once passionately curious become less inclined to explore, question, and create simply for the joy of it. Little by little, that inner spark dims. Where does that boundless intrinsic drive disappear to? Consider a revealing experiment researchers conducted with preschool children drawing pictures. One group was promised a special certificate as a reward for finishing their drawings, while the other kids weren't promised anything. They drew simply for the fun of it. Afterwards, both groups were invited again to draw, this time without any promised rewards. Surprisingly, the children who previously received rewards no longer seemed interested in drawing at all. Those who hadn't received certificates still eagerly took crayons and paper, maintaining their original joy and curiosity. The certificate had damaged the children's intrinsic motivation. After receiving external praise, they'd learned to see drawing solely as something done for external reward, not for fun or satisfaction. This is the hidden cost of external if-then rewards. When we promise praise, bonuses, or prizes for certain activities, those activities often lose their innate appeal. Over time, these external incentives corrode our deep inner drives, diminishing natural curiosity, creativity, and enthusiasm. Think about it in our everyday adult lives. From early childhood through school and beyond, almost everything we do gets linked to external rewards. We are praised when we do chores, awarded good grades for diligent studying, handed bonuses or promotions for hard work. Gradually, we internalize the idea that our actions need external validation to have worth. As a result, our inner wellspring of motivation dries up. Originally, each of us was intrinsically driven, motivated by the simple joy of discovery, experimentation, and play. Yet, as life piles on one external incentive after another, we grow increasingly reliant on them. We no longer leap into challenges or seek out novelty naturally. We wait for external prompts and promised rewards. Our intrinsic motivation, the fuel behind the joys of learning and creating, is slowly, quietly extinguished. It's clear then that external promises can harm rather than encourage, weakening our most valuable inner motivator. Recognizing this problem is key, for in rediscovering the innate joy that drives genuine learning and creativity, we just might reconnect to that curious child within us. Part 4. Discovering Flow: How Pursuing Excellence Creates Passion and Commitment. Think of a seasoned basketball player, practicing jump shots after hours at the gym, determined to hit more hoops today than yesterday. Or picture a software engineer, obsessed with building smarter, more elegant algorithms, losing track of hours, immersed deeply in their work. Likewise, imagine a photographer who patiently captures thousands of photos, carefully refining their art with every frame. These people share something powerful: the internal desire to continually improve, the pursuit of excellence. This drive, the quest to do better and better, is at the heart of Motivation 3.0. It's a motivator that brings enthusiasm, dedication, and genuine passion into our lives and careers, pushing us beyond mere routine into a place where we're truly absorbed by what we're doing. But look at today's workplace, and there's a yawning gap. Studies reveal that at least half of all U.S. workers feel disconnected from their work. These employees get things done, sure, but something crucial is missing. The spark of passion isn't there. They're not lazy, they're simply uninspired, held back from challenges that stimulate growth. Without the space or freedom for personal improvement, their innate drive toward excellence fades away. Contrast this with genuinely motivated people, often creatives, artists, or passionate craftsmen, who regularly enter what's known as a state of flow. Flow is a focused, energized state where people become completely, joyfully absorbed in their work. They're so tuned into their tasks that they lose track of hours passing by. It's here, in the flow state, where intrinsic motivation thrives, productivity soars, and creativity reaches its peak. Flow doesn't happen every second of every day, it's episodic. But people continually driven by the pursuit of excellence naturally experience these powerful sparks of concentration often enough to steadily move forward. A single breakthrough, a small success, or just the confidence that improvement is attainable, that alone can fuel passion and push them to stay committed, even during challenges and setbacks. Yet for flow to flourish, we must believe that growth and excellence are even possible. People who truly believe they're stuck, that they're either naturally talented or not, smart or average, typically become unmotivated and less invested. But the curious person who knows skills can evolve will pursue better performance with determination. They'll train harder, study longer, or practice more precisely. Believing in improvement itself can ignite internal motivation. Smart employers understand this. Leaders who hand their team engaging tasks, ones tailored to allow individual growth, give employees an environment where flow naturally occurs. Employees given the chance to develop continuously come to work with clearer purpose, a stronger sense of ownership, and deeper passion. Absolute perfection may remain elusive, but striving toward it isn't a pointless quest. It's our most powerful motivator. By constantly pushing just a bit closer to excellence, people rediscover the inner joy and dedication that transform simple jobs into meaningful experiences, energizing careers, communities, and lives. Part 5. Why seeking meaning, not money, is the path to lasting happiness. As people grow older, they often pause to reflect on their lives, asking questions like, did my work matter? Was my time well spent? Did I leave the world a bit better than I found it? Yet these powerful questions shouldn't wait until our twilight years. They are deeply relevant, even critical, for understanding what motivates us every day. Psychologists began delving into this mystery by asking young people about the central goals driving their lives. In one insightful study, researchers asked university graduates at Rochester about their life ambitions. Some students dreamed of fame, wealth, or career success, drawn by external rewards and societal prestige. Others had internal, intrinsically driven goals. They aspired to serve others, build stronger communities, or achieve meaningful personal growth. Years later, researchers reconnected with these former students and discovered something remarkable. Those who initially chased traditional markers of success, money, fame, and material comforts, fared worse emotionally. Despite impressive titles or larger salaries, they suffered higher rates of anxiety and depression, often reporting feeling empty or unfulfilled. Conversely, the graduates who sought meaningful lives, ones anchored in personal development, contribution, and generosity, reported greater happiness, deeper fulfillment, and fewer emotional struggles overall. This reveals a profound truth. Choosing goals infused with meaning, rather than mere financial or social gains, creates deeper, lasting satisfaction. Deep down, we humans crave purpose. We want our lives and efforts to matter, to improve something beyond ourselves, and benefit others around us. Today, more people than ever volunteer time and energy toward meaningful causes. Simply put, purpose fuels intrinsic motivation far better than external rewards ever could. An employee inspired to be part of something genuinely valuable to society often feels greater loyalty, satisfaction, and energy. Similarly, workplaces allowing staff opportunities to contribute toward community projects or charitable causes report stronger morale and well being. Even doctors report reduced burnout and increased engagement when given regular opportunities to spend extra conversational, caring time with patients or perform meaningful outreach services. In other words, the pursuit of profit alone can't motivate us forever. Real fulfillment and lasting inner drive comes from having a bigger aim than money. Meaningful ambition gives people resilience and focus, fostering healthier emotional states, deeper contentment, and stronger bonds between themselves and the world they influence. What ultimately motivates us then isn't the size of our paycheck or the glow of fame, but the quiet, lasting satisfaction of knowing our efforts genuinely matter in the lives of others. Part 6: My Work, My Rules, My Team. How autonomy sparks motivation and success. In many workplaces, strict rules, tight supervision, and rigid schedules used to define how things got done. Managers kept a close eye on employees, worried that too much freedom would lead to slack routines and reduced output. But recently, some groundbreaking companies have discovered the exact opposite: that increasing autonomy, the freedom to choose when, how, and with whom we work, can radically boost motivation, happiness, and productivity. Let's start with Google. At this tech giant, employees are famously given significant freedom. They even enjoy the famous 20% time, allowing them to spend one day a week exploring bold new projects of their choice. And the results speak clearly. Gmail, Google Maps, and Google News were all innovative products born from this autonomous time. Google's relaxed approach to control cultivated greater motivation, creativity, and groundbreaking ideas. Another compelling example is Medius, a software company that decided to scrap firm office hours entirely. Instead, they created more flexible workdays, allowing their staff to structure their tasks around personal commitments. The result? Employees became happier and genuinely more committed, freed from the guilt of missing family events or kids' soccer games. Motivation soared because team members felt trusted and empowered rather than micromanaged. Zappos, the major online shoe and clothing retailer, also turned conventional wisdom on its head. Call centers traditionally suffer notoriously high turnover rates, often around 35% annually. Workers spend their days on repetitive calls, under constant pressure from supervisors. But Zappos changed this entirely, letting call center employees work remotely if they choose, handling customer interactions using their natural conversational style. No stiff scripts, no hovering bosses. The outcome was incredible: dramatically lower turnover rates, happier customer service agents, and extraordinarily high customer satisfaction. With autonomy, motivation and retention soared. But autonomy isn't just about choosing which tasks we perform or when we complete them. It's also about shaping the teams we work with. At Whole Foods, hiring isn't just management's decision. Instead, current employees have direct input in selecting new coworkers, empowering everyone to build stronger, more effective teams they genuinely enjoy. Likewise, at innovative companies like WL Gore, employees who want leadership responsibilities aren't simply handed managerial titles. They must actively inspire others to choose to follow them, naturally forming stable and motivated teams. Whether you're a researcher striving to complete a long-term project, a cashier serving customers, or a mechanic repairing cars, this truth remains clear. We're driven by personalized autonomy. Some may cherish freedom in shaping their work schedules, others desire a voice in team selection, and still others yearn for control over how tasks are completed. Ultimately, when workplaces respect these needs, something extraordinary happens. Employees become deeply engaged, notably productive, and immensely satisfied, and remarkably resistant to burnout. In short, giving people the space and trust to manage their own tasks, schedules, and teams isn't just feel good idealism, it's a practical, powerful engine for motivation, innovation, and sustained success. Part 7. Building a Better Workplace. How Companies Thrive with Motivation 3.0. Even though the powerful benefits of intrinsic motivation, what we call Motivation 3.0, are well known, many organizations remain stuck in the old ways. They persist with carrots and sticks management systems, dangling bonuses, salary hikes, and rewards to coax workers forward. Yet research clearly shows that unleashing employees' inner motivations is far more effective, especially for creative tasks. So, if intrinsic motivation is such a powerful tool, why aren't more companies embracing it? Let's explore how modern organizations can start harnessing Motivation 3.0 to energize employees and significantly boost their productivity. First, consider the enormous impact of small, unexpected gestures. Surprising your team members with sincere praise, spontaneous recognition, or an encouraging word does wonders. Thoughtful, unexpected appreciation underscores employees' natural passion for their tasks. It sharpens their focus on genuine enjoyment of the work itself, gradually boosting their internal drive. Next, invite your staff into the decision-making process. When workers feel their voices matter, their sense of value grows exponentially. Demonstrating clearly how each person's effort contributes to overall organizational success deepens their sense of meaning. Feeling connected to the company's mission and aware of their role within it transforms passive employees into active participants, eager to invest energy, commitment, and personal pride into their work. Another critical element involves assigning tasks that perfectly balance difficulty and talent. Challenge every individual in your team with responsibilities precisely matching their capabilities, neither too easy nor impossibly complicated. When the challenge perfectly aligns with ability, it pushes people toward consistent states of flow. These focused, immersive phases of energized concentration drive employees to excel, fueling ongoing satisfaction and continual improvement. Additionally, connecting daily work directly to meaningful social goals significantly strengthens intrinsic motivation. Employees who know their efforts contribute toward a greater social or ethical purpose become profoundly motivated. Consider companies that allocate part of their profits or productivity to charities, allowing employees to see and feel clearly the positive impact of their labor. Workers involved in such meaningful contributions develop stronger commitment, deeper engagement, and genuinely higher morale. Ultimately, forward-thinking firms shift their leadership style away from outdated Motivation 2.0 reward systems and instead embrace autonomy, mastery, and meaningful purpose, the three essential ingredients that define Motivation 3.0 organizations. By giving teams thoughtful autonomy, encouraging them to reach toward mastery in well-matched challenges, and aligning their tasks with genuine meaning, companies dramatically improve performance, retention, creativity, and employee happiness. Companies that choose Motivation 3.0 build cultures where individuals don't merely punch in hours and count down days until payday. Instead, their employees arrive energized, committed to their coworkers, proud of their contributions, and actively invested in the long-term success of the organization. And the businesses bold enough to harness intrinsic motivation see powerful results, innovation, growth, and competitive excellence as thriving, engaged workers become their greatest strength. Final summary. In the workplace and life itself, carrots and sticks are everywhere. Pay raises to reward good work, criticism to reduce errors, bonuses to encourage sales targets. While these external incentives might produce short-term boosts in productivity, relying solely upon them ultimately backfires, leading to unwanted behaviors, reduced creativity, and the slow erosion of intrinsic motivation, or the inner drive that fuels genuine passion and lasting dedication. Throughout history, motivation has evolved, from Motivation 1.0, where survival shaped behavior, to Motivation 2.0, the familiar stick and carrot approach that uses rewards and punishments to push us forward. But this external motivation has serious limits, particularly in our modern workplaces that increasingly value creativity, innovation, and problem solving. Fortunately, there is another way, Motivation 3.0. Rather than external rewards and threats, this intrinsic motivation is powered by deeper human desires, the urge to choose the purpose of our work, the freedom to master tasks important to us, and the wish for meaningfulness at the heart of our days. Yet, as we interact with a world built upon incentives, there's danger ahead. External rewards often inadvertently sabotage our intrinsic motivation. When we start doing something solely for external bonuses or praise, the inner joy we had in those activities can dry up and fade away entirely. Real intrinsic motivation is deeply powerful. Think about athletes tirelessly mastering their sport, or musicians endlessly perfecting their melodies. They work diligently because it fulfills them deeply and completely. They experience flow, that energizing state where they lose themselves in concentration and joyfully rise to meet the challenge at hand. When individuals believe improvement is genuinely possible, and they're allowed to steadily stretch their abilities, they're naturally driven toward achieving excellence. Yet even the motivation derived from mastery can only take us so far. True and lasting drive naturally emerges when we find genuine meaning in our daily tasks. Research tells us clearly, those who chase external fame, fortune, and status experience more anxiety, stress, and dissatisfaction. In contrast, people aiming for meaningful outcomes, purposeful goals that serve something larger than themselves, find deeper contentment, better emotional health, and lasting happiness. Forward-thinking workplaces understand this concept well. Businesses that grant their employees self-determination, letting them decide how, when, and with whom they tackle their responsibilities, see motivation and productivity flourish. Leaders who offer their people meaningful tasks aligned with social goals, and who encourage genuine creativity and innovation, cultivate stronger workplace morale, reduced burnout, and sustained organizational growth. In short, while carrots and sticks may seem effective at first glance, the real secret to unlocking greatness, both personal and organizational, is carefully cultivating intrinsic motivation. Companies and individuals thrive best when they're allowed autonomy, encouraged to master new skills, and driven by purposeful and meaningful goals. In embracing Motivation 3.0, we uncover a deeper, more resilient source of passion, creativity, and satisfaction, one that helps us flourish personally, motivates profound achievement, and enriches both our lives and the world around us. Thank you for joining me today on this journey of learning and discovery as we explored the insights of another thought-provoking book in our growing library of knowledge. If you've enjoyed our time together, please take a moment to follow our podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and share 20-minute books with other knowledge seekers. Your support truly means a lot. Don't forget to join me again in the next episode, where we will delve into another enriching book. Until then, happy reading and happy listening.